Chosen one, stop scrolling. Set everything else aside and listen with your full spirit, because what is about to be spoken over your life was held back until this exact moment. God has been hiding something from you. I know that sounds strange, because you have been the one searching, you have been the one praying into the silence, walking through seasons that felt longer than any human being should have to carry alone. And all this time you thought heaven was quiet, but heaven was not quiet. Heaven was constructing. Every unanswered prayer was a wall going up. Every closed door was a room being sealed until it was ready for you to enter. What felt like divine forgetfulness was divine architecture, and now the architect is ready to walk you through the building. I want you to understand something. The reason you could not find this revelation before today is not because it did not exist. It is because showing it to you too soon would have been like handing a blueprint to someone standing in a storm. The storm had to pass first, and it has. What I am about to reveal will unfold in layers. The first layer shows you what God was hiding. The second layer shows you why the timing had to be exact. And the final layer will restructure how you understand every season of silence you have ever walked through. Do not leave before the final layer. That is where everything changes. And I need to tell you something before we go any further. You are not who you think you are. What God has kept hidden is not just a blessing or a breakthrough. It is connected to your true identity, to a version of you that has been sealed away, protected, preserved, for a moment, that the enemy tried everything to prevent you from reaching. And that moment is now. What God buried in you was never a burial. It was a planting. And like any seed pressed deep into the earth, it had to sit in the dark. It had to endure the pressure. It had to feel forgotten by the sun. But it was never forgotten. It was being rooted, and what is rooted in the dark is what stands tallest in the light. Now, let me show you the first layer, the first truth. God has been actively hiding something from you, not passively, not by accident, actively, with purpose, with precision. And the proof is not in some distant prophecy. The proof is in what you have been feeling. There are signs, chosen one, signs that have been appearing in your body, in your emotions, in your sleep, in the very atmosphere around your life. And you may have noticed them, but you did not know what they meant. Let me name them for you right now, and as I do, pay attention to which ones make your spirit respond, because the more of these you recognize, the clearer the picture becomes. The first sign is restlessness that has no name. You are not anxious about a specific thing. There is no single problem you can point to. But something inside you has been stirring, shifting, refusing to settle. You have tried to sleep it off. You have tried to distract yourself from it. But it keeps coming back because this is not anxiety. This is your spirit recognizing that a shift in the spiritual atmosphere has already begun. The seal over your life is lifting, and your spirit feels it before your mind can understand it. The second sign is that your tolerance has changed. Environments that used to feel comfortable now feel suffocating. Conversations that used to entertain you now drain you. People you used to enjoy being around now feel heavy, and you have been wondering if something is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. What is happening is that your frequency is changing. You are being recalibrated for a new season, and everything that does not match that frequency is becoming unbearable because it was never meant to come with you where you are going. The third sign is that your dreams have become vivid, not just strange, but vivid, searching. You wake up with the feeling that you were looking for something in the dream, but you cannot remember what it was. Or you find yourself in places that feel ancient and familiar at the same time. These are not random. These are signals from a part of you that remembers what your conscious mind has been blocked from seeing. Your spirit is reaching for the revelation before your eyes can see it. The fourth sign is emotional waves that do not match your circumstances. Tears come, and you do not know why. A deep peace settles over you for an hour, and then a sadness rolls in like fog. And none of it connects to anything happening in your external life. This is not instability. This is your soul processing something enormous. Something is being rearranged at the deepest level of who you are, and your emotions are the surface tremors of a shift that is happening far underground. But there is a fifth sign that changes how you understand all the others. And this is the one that confirms everything. It is a knowing, a quiet, stubborn, unexplainable certainty that something is about to happen. You cannot prove it. You cannot point to evidence. But somewhere beneath the exhaustion and beneath the doubt, there is a voice so quiet it barely registers, and that voice keeps saying the same thing: soon. If you recognized yourself in what I just described, if 3 or more of those signs made something move in your chest, I need you to hear me. That is not coincidence. That is confirmation. You are not imagining this. You are not being dramatic. You are standing at the edge of something God has been preparing in secret, and your spirit is the first part of you to know it. If you felt that, type "I feel it" in the comments right now. Let that be your first act of agreement with what God is doing. Not because I am asking you to, but because something inside you already knows this message was placed here for you. Now, before I continue, I want to be honest with you about what is coming in this message. If you stay until the very end, you are going to receive 3 things. First, you will understand exactly why God made you wait, and why the timing could not have been any different. Second, I am going to give you a specific framework, a tool you can use starting tonight, to recognize when God is moving in your life, so you never confuse His timing with His silence again. And third, at the very end, I am going to speak something over your life, not a regular prayer, an activation, something I believe will stay with you long after this message ends. But it builds. Each layer depends on the one before it. So, if you leave early, the final truth will not land the way it was designed to. Stay with me. You will know by the end that this was not wasted time. Now, knowing that God has been hiding something, knowing that the signs have been appearing in your life and confirming it, that alone would be enough to sit with. That alone could change the way you carry this week. But what I have not told you yet is the reason behind the timing. Why now? Why not last year when you were begging for an answer? Why not 5 years ago when the pain was at its worst? There is a reason. And it lives inside an ancient word that most people have never heard explained. A word that, once you understand it, will permanently change how you measure God's work in your life. And that is where we go next. You now know the first truth. God has been actively hiding something from you, and the evidence is written across your body, your emotions, and your sleep. But the question that burns deeper than what is the question why. Why did the timing have to be this precise? Why could He not have shown you sooner? Why did you have to walk through years that felt like they would never end just to arrive at this moment? There is a word in the original language of Scripture. Most translations flatten it into the English word time. But in the original Greek, there are 2 completely different words for time, and they mean 2 completely different things. The first word is Kronos. Kronos is the time on your clock. It is the calendar on your wall. It is Monday through Friday, January through December. It is the time that ticks forward, whether anything meaningful happens or not. Kronos does not care if you are ready. Kronos just moves. But the second word, the one that changes everything, is Kairos. Kairos is not clock time. Kairos is the appointed moment. The exact intersection where preparation meets opportunity, meets divine orchestration. Kairos does not tick. Kairos arrives. And it arrives only when every condition has been met, when the soil is ready, when the roots are deep enough, when the structure can hold the weight of what is about to be placed on it. Your entire life you have been measuring God by Kronos. By how many months have passed, by how many birthdays came and went without the answer, by how many times you watched someone else receive what you had been praying for. And every time you measured by Kronos, the verdict was the same: late, behind, forgotten. But God has never operated on Kronos. God operates on Kairos. And in Kairos, you are not late, you are not behind. You are exactly where the architect needs you to be for the structure to hold. Think about it this way. Imagine you planted a seed in the ground, and then you stood over that seed with a stopwatch, demanding to know why it has not become a tree yet. The seed does not grow on your schedule. The seed grows when the roots are deep enough to sustain the height that is coming. And if you ripped it out of the ground early because you were tired of waiting, you would destroy the very thing you were desperate to see bloom. The seed does not understand darkness, but darkness is where roots form. And you, chosen one, have been in the dark, not because God forgot where He planted you, but because what He is growing in you requires a depth of root that only comes from extended time underground. What felt like silence was strategy. What felt like delay was development. What felt like absence was architecture. What felt like abandonment was an assignment so important that it had to be carried out in the hidden place where no one could interfere. Before this continues, gently press the like button, not for me, but so this message can reach someone who has been measuring God by the wrong clock and losing hope because of it. Someone out there needs to hear that they are not late. Your like might be the thing that puts this in front of them tonight. Now let me give you something practical, something you can carry with you. I call it the Kairos Recognition Protocol. It is a way of seeing, a way of reading the signs when God is shifting from Kronos to Kairos in your life. There are 3 markers, 3 things that happen simultaneously when a Kairos moment is arriving. The first marker is increased internal disruption. When Kairos approaches, your inner world becomes turbulent. Old wounds resurface, old doubts get louder, emotions become unpredictable. And most people interpret this as something going wrong. But it is not something going wrong, it is something going right. The disruption is the ground shaking because something massive is about to break through from beneath. The second marker is external doors closing simultaneously. When Kairos is near, God begins shutting down every exit that would lead you away from the moment. Opportunities dry up, plans fall apart. Relationships shift, and it feels like the walls are closing in. But they are not closing in, they are closing off. God is removing every distraction so that when the Kairos door opens, it is the only door you can see. The third marker is an unexplainable certainty that will not leave. Despite the disruption, despite the closed doors, despite every logical reason to give up, there is something inside you that refuses to quit. You cannot explain it, you cannot justify it to anyone who asks, but it sits in your chest like a stone that will not move. That is not stubbornness. That is God's own certainty planted inside you. That is Kairos whispering through the noise. If something just clicked, if you suddenly see the last few months of your life differently, type Kairos in the comments. Seal that recognition, name it. Because when you name what God is doing, you partner with it instead of fighting against it. And I want to ask you something. When was the last time you truly believed that something good was coming specifically for you? Not for the world in general, not for other people, for you, personally. If you cannot remember, that is not a problem. That is a symptom of measuring your life by Kronos for too long. But today, the measurement changes. Today, you learn to read the clock that God actually uses. Now there is something I need to share with you, something connected to what I have been describing, but deeper. Some who have walked this path speak of a journey far greater than any single revelation, something called destiny's embrace, a fullness of purpose that unfolds season by season. But that is a conversation for another time. What matters right now is this next truth. Because understanding Kairos is only half of it. Knowing that God's timing is different from yours is important, yes, but what I have not told you yet is what God was actually doing during all that hidden time. And when I do tell you, it will explain a pattern in your life that you have never been able to name. It involves two people from sacred history whose stories, when laid side by side, will make you see your own story with entirely different eyes. That is where we go next. And I hear the Spirit saying to you right now, I hid it because you were not ready, but I see the formation in you now, and what I kept from your eyes, I am about to place in your hands. Let those words settle. Let them find the place inside you that has been waiting to hear them. Now, I need to take you somewhere. I need to take you into the story of two people from sacred history because their lives hold a mirror to yours. And when you see what happened to them, you will never look at your hidden season the same way again. The first is a man named Joseph. Most people know the broad strokes. He was given a dream as a young man, a vision of greatness, a promise that one day he would rise to a position of extraordinary influence. And then everything fell apart. His own brothers betrayed him, sold him. He ended up as a slave in a foreign land. Then he was falsely accused and thrown into prison. And he stayed in that prison for years. Not months, years. Now here is what most people miss about Joseph. They read his story and they focus on the pain, the betrayal, the injustice. But if you read it through the lens of what I have been showing you today, something different emerges. Every single act of betrayal was geography. Every act of cruelty moved Joseph across the map. His brothers did not just sell him, they relocated him. The false accusation did not just imprison him, it positioned him inside the exact building where the king's servants were held, which is where he would interpret the dream that would eventually bring him before the throne. Joseph spent 13 years in the hidden place, 13 years where it looked like God had forgotten him. But God had not forgotten him. God was positioning him. The prison was not punishment. The prison was the final room in a building God had been constructing for over a decade. And when the door finally opened, Joseph did not just walk out. He walked into the second highest position in the most powerful nation on earth. Now, the second person, a woman named Esther, and her story carries something that Joseph's does not. Esther was chosen for the palace, but her true identity was hidden. She was told not to reveal who she really was, not because her identity was shameful, but because revealing it too soon would have eliminated her before she could fulfill her purpose. Her power was hidden in plain sight. She walked through the halls of the palace every day, carrying a truth about herself that no one around her could see. And it was only when the Kairos moment arrived, when the conditions were exactly right, that she was told to reveal what had been concealed. And this is what she said. She said, "Maybe I was placed here for such a time as this." Chosen one, do you hear the echo in your own life? You have been in the hidden place. You have been carrying something true about yourself that the world around you cannot see. And the question that has been haunting you is not, when will this end? The real question, the one that matters, is, What am I being positioned for? If the story of Joseph or Esther just lit something inside you, if you felt recognition and not just interest, that is because your story carries the same architecture. You are not just waiting. You are being moved into position by a hand you cannot see, but you can feel. And the hidden years are not wasted years. They are the years that build the only kind of foundation that can hold what God is about to place on top of it. Remember what I said earlier about what God was building during the silence? Joseph's story just showed you. He was not building your patience, he was building your position. He was not making you wait. He was making you ready for a seat that did not exist yet. And now the seat exists. And now you are ready. You have been underground long enough. The shell is cracking. But I need to be honest with you about something. Right here, right at the edge of this revelation, right when everything is about to shift, there is something that rises. And if I do not name it, it will quietly talk you out of everything you just received. It is doubt, not doubt in God, doubt in yourself. A voice that says, what if I am not really chosen? What if I misunderstood? What if this message is beautiful, but it is not really for me? What if I get my hopes up again and nothing happens? I know that voice, and I want you to know something about it. That voice does not show up for people who are far from their breakthrough. That voice shows up for people who are close. Doubt at the gate is not the absence of faith. It is faith being tested at the exact threshold where everything is about to change. And the only people who feel this specific kind of doubt, this aching, trembling kind that sits in your stomach and whispers you are not enough, are the ones who are standing closer to their destiny than they have ever been. So let me give you permission right now. You are allowed to be afraid and still move forward. You are allowed to doubt and still receive. You are allowed to tremble at the gate and still walk through it. Your fear does not disqualify you. Your fear is evidence that what is on the other side of that gate is real, and your spirit knows it. If your spirit just confirmed that, if something in you just exhaled for the first time in a long time, type I receive in the comments. Let that be your declaration that the doubt was never the truth about you. Now, before I show you the deepest layer, the mega truth that recontextualizes everything I have shared, let me tell you about someone. I will not give you a name, but I will give you the truth. 14 months ago, a man lost everything he had built in his career. A major contract cancelled without warning, then a second one, then a third. Within 60 days, the income that sustained his family for 7 years was gone, and the people around him, the ones who used to praise his work, went silent. Some of them whispered that he had lost his touch. Some of them said he should pivot, start over, try something smaller. But he did something that most people do not have the courage to do. He went quiet. He deleted his social media. He stopped explaining himself to anyone. He entered what he later described as a season of strategic silence. He said he could feel in his spirit that God was rearranging something and that any movement on his part would interfere with the construction. On day 11 of the 14th month, a company he had never contacted called him. They had found his work through a reference chain he could not trace. The position they offered was not just a replacement for what he had lost, it was double. In scope, in income, in influence. And the specific skills required for the role were skills he had only developed during the 14 months of silence. Skills that did not exist in him before the collapse. He told me later that the hidden season did not just develop his skill, it developed his discernment. And without that discernment, the position would have destroyed him. He was not ready 14 months ago. He was ready on day 11 of month 14. Not a day sooner, not a day later. He proved himself in silence, before he promoted himself in public. And that is the wall. The wall that most chosen ones hit right before their Kairos moment. They try to force the door open one day too early, and that is the wall. They try to explain their calling to people who were never meant to understand it, and that is the barrier. They let doubt convince them to walk away 72 hours before the phone rings, and that is the final gate. You did not walk away. You are still here, and that means the gate is opening. And before this message ends, I am going to speak something over your life. Not a regular prayer, an activation, a commissioning, something I believe will stay rooted in your spirit long after you leave this space. Stay with me. We are close. Now, take a breath. The hardest truths have been named. The stories have been told. The doubt has been addressed. Now let me show you what is on the other side of that gate. What I am about to reveal is the mega truth, the deepest layer, the one that makes everything I have said snap into place. And it begins with a word in the original Hebrew that will change how you hear every promise God has ever made you. The word is galah. In the original Hebrew, the word that gets translated into English as reveal is galah. But galah does not simply mean to show. Galah means to strip away, to uncover, to remove every layer, every veil, every covering, until what was always there becomes fully visible. God is not giving you something new. God is galah. He is uncovering what was always inside you. He is stripping away the doubt, the false identity, the years of being told you were ordinary, the layers of survival that you wrapped around yourself just to make it through. And underneath all of that, underneath every covering, is you, the real you, the one that has been there since the beginning. And this is the mega truth, chosen one. What God has been hiding from you is not an external blessing. It is not a promotion. It is not a relationship. It is not a financial breakthrough, although those things may come as a result. What God has been hiding from you is your true capacity, the fullness of who you were designed to be. He hid it because capacity without character is catastrophic. He hid your power until your wisdom caught up. He hid your authority until your humility was deep enough to carry it without it destroying you. He hid your capacity. He hid your authority. He hid the frequency you were born to carry. And now the character is formed. The humility is rooted. The foundation is set. And God is galah. God is uncovering. God is peeling back every layer that kept you from seeing what was always yours. Remember in the beginning when I said you are not who you think you are? This is what I meant. You are not the version of yourself that struggled. You are not the version that doubted. You are not the version that almost quit. Those were the layers. Beneath them is the version of you that God has been protecting, hiding, preserving for this exact moment. And that version is now ready to be seen. And I hear the Father saying, "What I kept from you was never a punishment. It was a preservation. I hid your fire until you built the furnace to contain it. And now the furnace is ready. And now the fire returns." If something just broke open inside you, if something just shifted that you cannot put into words, type "I release" in the comments right now. Release every lie that told you God had forgotten you. Release the old story. Release the old identity. Let it fall away, because what is being uncovered cannot coexist with what you used to believe about yourself. When the hidden becomes visible, not everyone around you will celebrate. Some people built their understanding of you based on the version that was covered, and when the covering comes off, it will disorient them. But those who truly love you will not be threatened by your rising. They will recognize what God built, and the rest, you release them with grace. Now there is something I need to share with you. that connects everything you have just heard to a discovery that science has been quietly confirming for over 3 decades. And when you hear it, you will understand that what I have been describing spiritually has a name in the language of neuroscience. Researchers at MIT, Princeton, and several other leading institutions have been studying a specific brainwave. It is called the gamma wave. And what they found is remarkable. The gamma wave is the brainwave associated with genius-level thinking, deep intuition, heightened creativity, states of flow where everything clicks, and what many scientists describe as moments of pure clarity. They found that when gamma is active, the brain operates at a level that most people only experience in rare flashes. Those moments where the perfect idea appears, or the right words come out of nowhere, or you just know something without being able to explain how. But here is what makes this personal to you, as a chosen one. Every child is born with strong gamma activity. As children, your brain was flooded with this frequency. That is why you learned so fast. That is why you were so creative. That is why you had intuitions that adults around you could not explain. You were not just smart. You were operating on a frequency that connected you to something higher. But around the age of 7, something happens. Scientists call it the decline effect. The modern world, the education system, the constant noise, the pressure to conform, it begins to suppress gamma. Year by year, the frequency dims. And by adulthood, most people are operating on a fraction of the capacity they were born with. The signal that once connected you to your deepest wisdom, your clearest thinking, your most powerful intuition, that signal gets buried. And for a chosen one, this hits harder than it hits anyone else. Because you were born with gamma that was stronger than average. The distance between who you were as a child and who you feel like now, that gap that haunts you, that sense of, I used to be more than this, that is the gamma gap. That is the decline effect, operating on a mind that was built to carry more light than most. A neuroscientist named Dr. Robert Lake spent 34 years studying this phenomenon. His body of research spans an entire system, including work he calls the youthful brain, which maps the neurology of early genius. But what he became most known for is a breakthrough in brain entrainment technology. He discovered a way to externally reactivate the gamma frequency using a specific audio track. Not meditation, not mantras, not months of practice, 7 minutes, through headphones. Using a technology that does not ask your brain to change itself from the inside, which is slow and uncertain, but instead activates the frequency from the outside, which is direct and measurable by EEG. One woman, 38 years old, had searched for this kind of breakthrough through meditation, yoga, spiritual retreats. Nothing connected. She told me she bought the track because she had nothing left to lose. Within 2 weeks, the only word she could use to describe what changed was synchronicities. She said the universe started speaking a language she could finally understand. She later mentioned she explored something called neuroactive as part of her deeper journey, but she said it all started with those first 7 minutes. Now, I know some of you are thinking you have tried things before. Healing sounds, frequency videos, meditation apps, and none of them worked. I understand that frustration. It is valid. But what I am describing is fundamentally different in mechanism. Those methods ask your brain to change itself from the inside. Brain entrainment works from the outside in. It is not another item on the same list. It is a different list entirely. And it is not a promise from a salesman. It is a result measured by EEG machines in research labs. Over 18,000 people have used it. The results repeat. I would never disrespect your financial situation. $39 is a real decision for many people, and I honor that. Let me put it in perspective. Traditional biofeedback therapy, the clinical way to train your brain into gamma, costs around $300 per session. A home neurofeedback device costs roughly $7,000. Dr. Lake compressed that same technology into a 7-minute audio track. The standard price is $49. But because Dr. Lake believes this belongs in the hands of people who are genuinely seeking and not just browsing, there is a lower price available only through the link connected to this message, $39. That comes out to about 10 cents a day for an entire year. And it includes 4 bonuses at no extra cost: a track designed to help children activate focus and confidence, the original book that inspired the film called The Secret, a guided visualization covering finances, relationships, health, and peace of mind, and an infographic of the 5 most important daily practices for building your future. All of that, plus a 100% money-back guarantee. If you use it and feel no difference, you get every cent back. No conditions. Every day that gamma remains dormant is a day your prayers lack the frequency they were designed to carry. Every decision made from survival mode is a decision that could have been made from genius mode. The version of you on the other side of this activation is already looking back at this moment as the turning point. The decision does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be made. And I need to warn you about something. There are counterfeit versions of this technology circulating online. Sites that use the name but carry no real brain entrainment technology. They are just ordinary audio files with no science behind them. The only verified source, the one with full entrainment technology, all 4 bonuses, and the complete money-back guarantee, is through the link in the description and the pinned comment below this message. Do not search for it on Amazon or Spotify or anywhere else. Those are not the real thing. If your spirit resonates with what I just shared, the information is waiting for you in the description and in the pinned comment. Only if you feel led, only if your spirit confirms. Now take a breath. The deepest truth has been spoken. The science has confirmed what your spirit already knew. What breaks through the surface will shock those who thought you were finished. And what remains now is the most sacred part of this entire message. You now have the truth. You know that God has been hiding something. You know that the hiding was timed with surgical precision, Kairos over Kronos. You know that the hiding was not punishment, but positioning. And you know that what was hidden was never an external gift. It was your own capacity, your own God-given frequency that the world suppressed and God preserved. The question now is, how do you carry this? How do you walk out of this message and into your life without rushing what God is still unfolding, without exposing the seed to people who would trample it before it blooms? I want to give you one more tool. I call it the Sacred Patience Framework. And it is simple. 2 practices, that is all. The first practice is to anchor yourself in Kairos every single morning. Before your feet hit the floor, before the noise of the world floods in, say this to yourself: I am not late, I am positioned. That is not a mantra, that is a recalibration. It is you reminding your spirit that the clock God uses is not the clock the world uses. And when you anchor in Kairos first thing in the morning, the Kronos pressure loses its grip on your day. The second practice is to protect the seed. Do not share this revelation with everyone. The first person you tell should be God. The second should be someone who carries the same frequency, someone who will guard what you say rather than question it. And the third should be no one. Not until the fruit is visible. A farmer does not dig up the seed to check if it is growing. He trusts the soil, he trusts the rain, he trusts the season. and you must learn to do the same with what God has planted in you. If your answer to this entire message is yes, if something inside you has already decided, then type "I am ready" in the comments right now. Say it with the conviction of someone who has been prepared for this moment their entire life. Because you have. And you are not alone in this. Right now, all across the world, chosen ones are stepping into this same shift. The frequency is rising, the hidden ones are emerging. And what God is doing in your life, He is doing in theirs. You are part of something larger than one person. You are part of a generation of chosen ones who refused to quit during the hidden years and are now walking into the fullness of what was promised. Now, I am going to do what I told you I would do at the very beginning of this message. I am going to speak something over your life. This is not a regular prayer. This is an activation, a commissioning. And I need you to receive it not just with your ears, but with the deepest part of your spirit. Whatever position you are in right now, whether you are sitting, lying down, or driving, simply bring your full attention here. Father, I thank you. I thank you for hiding what needed to be hidden. I thank you for not showing this one everything at once. I thank you for trusting them enough to walk them through the dark season without explaining why. And I thank you for bringing them here, to this moment, to this message, at the exact time their spirit was ready to receive it. You see this one. You see the nights they lay awake wondering if you had moved on to someone else. You see the mornings they dragged themselves out of bed when there was no visible reason to keep going. You see the prayers they whispered when no one else was listening. You see the moments they chose to stay faithful when everything inside them screamed to walk away. You see it all, and none of it was wasted. Now, I speak release over this life. Release the belief that you were forgotten. Release the comparison to other people's timelines. Release the shame of not being further along. Release the fear that what God is building will collapse the moment it becomes visible. Release the identity that was assigned to you by people who never saw your calling. Release the old ceiling that kept you playing small. Release every whisper from every dark night that said you were too late, too broken, too ordinary to carry what God designed you to carry. Release it now. I activate what was hidden. I activate the gamma frequency that was suppressed. I activate the capacity that was preserved. I activate the authority that was protected. I activate the divine connections that have been held back, the right relationships, the right doors, the right conversations that could not happen until you were ready. Not just until the opportunity was ready. Until you were ready. I activate it all now, not because we beg, because the time has come. I speak protection over this rising. Cover what is being built from premature exposure. Guard this seed from those who would trample it out of their own confusion. Protect this chosen one from the temptation to move too fast, to prove too soon, to share too early. What God is revealing is fragile in its first hours. Protect it with silence. Protect it with discernment. Protect it with the fierce patience that only comes from knowing that what is yours cannot be taken. And now, the declaration. I am the one God hid. I am the one God kept. I am the one God is now revealing. I am the capacity that was preserved. I am the authority that was protected. I am the tree that grew from the seed God planted in the dark. I am not late. I am Kairos. I am not behind. I am positioned. I am not what the world said I was. I am what God always knew I would become. Do not say Amen yet. Sit in this. Let the weight of what was just spoken settle into the deepest part of you. Whether you are in a car, in your bed, at your desk, wherever you are, just be still for a moment and let the frequency of those words find their home inside your spirit. It is done. It is sealed. What God has revealed cannot be hidden again. The covering has been removed. The galah is complete, and so it is. Amen. One more thing before you go. The version of you that pressed play on this message would not recognize the version of you sitting here now. Something shifted, and it is permanent. You walked in carrying confusion about why God made you wait. You are walking out carrying the understanding that every single day of that wait was construction. You are not the same. If this message brought understanding to your waiting, if it brought purpose to your pain, if it brought revelation to your silence, let your like be your amen without words. Stay connected to this space. There are more revelations being prepared for your next season. What you receive today is not the end. It is the first unveiling. And the ones that follow are already being timed. For the moment, you are ready to carry them. For those who felt called to what I shared about the gamma restoration, the information is in the description and in the pinned comment. Only if your spirit confirms. And one final thing. If someone came to mind while you were listening, someone who has been unusually quiet lately, someone who has been carrying a weight they cannot explain to anyone, someone who looks fine on the outside, but you can feel that something deeper is shifting inside them, someone who has been questioning whether God still remembers their name, share this with them. Text it to them. Send it however you need to, because this might be the confirmation their spirit has been praying for. This might be the message that helps them understand that what they are going through is not punishment. It is preparation, and their Kairos moment is closer than they think. Go in peace, chosen one. What was hidden has been revealed. What was buried is now breaking through, and the God who hid it is the same God who will sustain it. The tree that stands in your future grew from the seed God planted in your pain, and it is magnificent. You are not leaving a message, you are leaving a season.